3 dogs that I track wounded deer with. Hunters will wound a deer and they can't find it, and they call me to go out and find the deer, dead or alive.
Tell us how this process works during the hunting season.
I sit around and wait for a phone call, and they call me and we discuss where and when and what happened. And I just go out there and let my dogs, I've got GPS collars that I run on them, and I put them down, and they are trained to track blood track, or sometimes they're not in blood, but they know what animal to go after. And I do all kinds, whitetails, exotics, sheep, it doesn't really matter.
And you've been doing this for how long?
Basically all my life. I've been doing it for the public since 1983, and the last 3 years during hunting season I had to quit guiding because this is all I do, is track wounded deer.
Take us through the process of how it all happens from the time you get the phone call to the time you find the animal.
What's really interesting is when the phone rings and I'm talking about a wounded deer, my dogs know it, they go ballistic. They know they're ready to go to work. I load them up in my pickup and go to wherever, and I put their collars on them, and I let 2 dogs down, usually 2 dogs, sometimes 1 at a time. And I just put them down, and they just take it from there. I don't run leashes on them, just the GPS collars. And they'll sniff out the track of the blood or the animal, and they just take it from there. And about half of them are dead, half of them are alive. And so they go out and hunt them up.
Now, does the hunter go with you on these trips?
Yeah, normally, and I like for the hunters to go. 3 or 4 people, it doesn't make any difference as long as they stay behind me. And I like for them to see the dogs work. It's pretty fascinating to watch them work.
And how long does it usually take to find a wounded animal?
Sometimes I went on one the other day. It took 2 minutes to find it because it's brushy and they just couldn't find it. It was dead. I've spent 5 or 6 hours on them. We go anywhere from 200 or 300 yards up to like an aoudad, 6 miles. Just whatever it takes.
What part of the state do you work in?
Basically around Junction. I like to stay within 100 miles of Junction. I'll go anywhere. If they want to pay me, I'll go anywhere. I do a little bit in South Texas, not a lot.
On average, how many hunters call you during a hunting season?
Well, last year I had a good year. This year's going to be slow. I go anywhere from 80 to 100 a year.
Sounds like you're busy.
Busy. That's all I do during hunting season. I had to quit guiding just to do this, and it's fun.
Yeah. And what are the reasons people will call you to go find the deer? Is it because it's a trophy animal, or are there other reasons?
Oh, there's lots of, yes, trophy animals is the main one, or kids, if it's their first deer, and that's ones I really like, is the kids, because they're so excited about everything, and retrieving that first deer that they ever shot. That's a lot. It's just kind of a humane deal for just to go retrieve an animal that they wounded.